if you hear me.
Howdy do, everyone. It's your boy AndiNero, the kayfabe assassin, alongside one Dirty Dave, everyone's favourite ring historian, and we are here for Holla If You Hear Me's Burn It Down Hot Takes. We're going to do things a little bit different this week. We're going to do a bit of a news roundup and a hot takes video all rolled into one for you. And naturally, yes, as you may have already noticed, there is one glaring omission from the video straight from the start. Our humble host Fraz is absent at the moment. He's off on his little baby holiday, so let's send our congratulations to him and his for the arrival of their little one. But for now, I just want to remind you all to like, share and subscribe this video, because we make wrestling content every week that you are going to love. But for now, Davey, how are we? Have we had a good week?
All good, my man. I am recovered from the weekend. Talk about that. But quite frankly, I think this is another state of benefit Britain, isn't it? I mean, he's having some time off because he's had a baby.
I know, it's a pretty weak excuse if you ask me. So I even turned up when I was at work last week, so you know.
Exactly. So he's off work on paternity leave, and he can't spare half an hour for our glorious fan base. I think it's outrageous.
And he deserves. He does some thumbnails.
And he absolutely deserves to have lost the prediction show. So go back and watch the prediction and the recap show. He deserves everything that he got there. That's the end of it. Right. He doesn't exist to me anymore. He's dead to me. Crack on.
So, like I said, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to change it up, not too much, but we're just going to roll both of the shows that we normally do, the news show and the hot take show, into one. We haven't really got much in the way of, unless Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Men have given us some hot takes this week, but for the most part, we've got pretty good, tasty hot takes ourselves. But we'll start off with what happened on Monday Night Raw, because I didn't actually get a chance to do my little short video that I did for the other day for everyone. But in terms of Monday Night Raw, standard fare really. Starts off with the Vision doing their bit where they walk into the arena, the usual crap. People walking into the arena for no reason whatsoever. The show opens with Cody coming out, talks about the Crown Jewel Championship, how much he can't wait to fight for that ring again, and blah blah blah. Seth comes out and gives him a bit of a yarn. Cody does drop a couple of nice little comments here where he says about how he's got two questions for Rollins. One, is the match between them at Crown Jewel going to be one-on-one? And two, in all of the one-on-one matches that they've had three, how many has Rollins actually won? And I thought that was a pretty cool way to end that particular segment, because it really put Seth in his place quite a bit there. Liked it a lot. After that, we saw Jimmy Uso walking backstage, giving a bit of Jey Uso situation, talking about how they can beat the Vision, blah blah blah, and then he was going to go and so Jimmy basically said he was going to go and talk to Adam Pearce about a match against the Vision, but he was told that Jey already asked for a match with LA Knight. Jey gets mad at Jimmy and says Knight is the reason they lost, even though he's not. It's just very confusing. New Day lost. The New Day, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods with Grayson Waller. Big G lost to the War Raiders and Penta.
Well, thank God it was Penta.
In a no DQ match, which was quite a good. It was, for what it was, considering it had two massively fat blokes in it. It was actually a half decent match, to be fair. But yeah.
No DQ the 6-man tag. Was it Tornado then? Was everybody?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
But the finish came from Penta hitting an avalanche Mexican Destroyer, which looked like it snapped Grayson in half, to be fair. He looked really shook up after it. It was a really, really cool moment, but yeah. It was standard fare from these teams, and to be honest with you, I still don't really understand why New Day are facing Penta and War Raiders when they should be getting a rematch for their tag titles, shouldn't they?
I don't get why Penta's involved at all with the New Day, or Grayson Waller, and I don't know why the War Raiders. Yeah, I mean, War Raiders and New Day was so WrestleMania 41. Do we still need it? We didn't need it then.
Exactly.
I don't want it now.
Didn't need it or want it then, don't need it or want it now. Judgment Day were backstage. Dom runs in and asks Finn Balor for help with Rusev. I believe, when... it's not mentioned earlier on, but basically when... I think it's... Who is it who's walking backstage? Oh, that's right. As LA Knight is walking, this is right at the back of the start of the show. LA Knight's walking through the backstage area, and Rusev just walks into Dominic Mysterio and shoves him against some equipment, and just starts
Yes,
bullying him a
I
bit.
did see that. Yeah.
So Dom's talking to Finn and asking him for help with Rusev. Balor tells him to suck eggs, and tells him to go and ask El Grande Americano. He then asks JD McDonough to help him out, and he says he's busy too. Roxy steps in and says, "Come on, it's for the good of the Judgment Day," and McDonough agrees to go and have a match with Rusev. That ends well.
Yeah.
Lyra is backstage, and Bayley comes up to her, and Valkyria apologises for last week. Bayley cuts her off as if she doesn't know what she's talking about. Just a little bit more of Bayley going crazy. Lyra
Split personality.
Set it out and look crazy. Stephanie walks by as Bayley leaves, and Vicaria's on after this commercial break. Adam Pearce is in the ring. He welcomes Stephanie Vicaire and congratulates her. She talks through some broken English and talks about how she's sacrificed so much for this opportunity and blah blah blah, and how she was there to do it for her dad, who she calls her hero. Pearce tells her that on Friday we'll find out if she faces Nia Jax, Jade, or Tiffy Stratton at Crown Jewel. Vicaire says that she'll be ready and she'll be there, and we get pyro for Vicaire. Backstage, Nikki Bella talks to Stephanie Vicaire. Rhea Ripley comes in and they all congratulate Vicaire. Asuka and Kairi cut in and say that they basically just get in Vicaire's face. Ripley says she's sick and tired of Asuka. Asuka tells Ripley to stay away from Io Sky. Blah 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 blah. More of this shit. And then Bayley with Lyra Valkyria versus Roxy Perez with Raquel Rodriguez. Bayley wins, but has several back and forth in her head about how she's going to do it, and then after the match Valkyria jumps in to celebrate with her, and Bayley is like full on ding dong hello style sort of role model. She's like, "Nah, fuck off, get away from me," sort of thing. Jimmy talks to Cody, asks him to talk to Jay. Cody then talks to Jay. Rhodes puts his title belt between them. And Jay literally for the whole segment, Jay is just staring at the belt. It's so cool. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing Jay as a heel. I think he's going to be a really cool heel. If they go full all in on him as being a heel dude. But JD McDonough loses to Rusev via submission. Don't really need to know. To be fair, McDonough did do some really, really cool stuff in this match. I thought, like, considering the mismatch between him and Rusev, this was actually a really decent match, and one that's worth watching.
And Dom didn't want to help him at the end, did he?
No, he was like, he had the opportunity to sort of get in and sort of smack him with the belt, and sort of just didn't and held back. It was an interesting match. And McDonough, I'm pretty convinced at this point that there's nothing that JD McDonough can do that's bad. He's so clean in the ring, on the mic, everything. He's just excellent. So he's my pick at the moment for the one to watch in 26. Finally, Finn Balor does run down and attacks Rusev, breaking the hold because Rusev left the accolade in for a little bit too long. Io comes backstage to see Asuka and tells her she doesn't have to do this. She doesn't have to beat up Rhea. Blah blah blah. Asuka says she's going to teach Rhea some respect. Then Kairi does her thing where she's trying to talk to someone, and then Asuka shouts for her. Yeah, I liked it to start with, but it's starting to grate a little bit now. But yeah, then it was Jey Uso versus LA Knight. I'll be honest with you, I don't actually remember this match. I know that there's a bit where Jey goes for a super kick. LA Knight goes for a BFT. Uso counters and then ends up trying to hit a super kick, which ends up being reversed again into a burning hammer of all things. You don't often see a burning hammer get used. So
I can't remember the last time. I honestly can't remember the last time. Yeah.
It's a beautiful fucking move, but it should be used more often, but it's not. Ultimately, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed run out, and LA Knight attacks Reed and Breaker and then gets back in the ring, and then Jey Uso spears him and hits an Uso splash to get the win. So basically, Jey benefits from the interference from the Vision. Jey walks and heads towards the back. Meanwhile, LA Knight and obviously Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are in the ring. Jimmy comes out and tells Jey to help him. Jade leaves and Jimmy runs to the ring with a chair. Paul Heyman tells the Vision to retreat. So yeah, creating more tension between LA and Jay. Seth is backstage with Becky. Becky's talking trash about Cody and the Usos. Rhea's backstage. Io comes up and they have a nice little one-on-one, like a little one-to-one sort of chat. Then it was a Maxine Dupree part. I didn't really understand why she was there at all. I don't hate Maxine. I think she's one of the most improved female women we've got on the roster. But from where she started to where she's now, she's really improved. But she's not part of anything at the moment. So why is she involved?
Who knows?
It looks like we're going to get AJ Styles and Dragon Lee against the El Grande Americanos at some point in the next couple of weeks. And then we get the main event, which is Asuka and Rhea. Good little match between Asuka and Rhea. Not really much to tell you on this one as well.
Well, apart from the mass mist.
Yeah, I mean, a big thing of mist to finish the match. Rhea Ripley loses and gets misted for her troubles and ends up looking like an Avatar character and kind of hot in a weird way as well. But yeah, I'm into that. Io comes out and tries to help, and Asuka and Io have a nice little hug in the middle of the ring. Kairi is shown to be relieved that it's all going to be sorted out and settled, and then Asuka hits Sky with a spinning strike. Asuka tells Kairi to get up on the top rope, and she hits a insane elbow to a standing Io Sky, which was quite cool. And then they just let him go, and that was that. So that was Raw in a nutshell, to be honest with you. Not the greatest, not the worst, just a meh, bit of a whatever show.
I protested and didn't watch it, so
I assumed so. I fast forwarded through most of it. There are a few bits I did catch. I tend to just I don't know, doesn't do for me what it should do. Monday Night Raw at the moment, it's very formulaic. The same things happen every week. So.
Yeah, I've got to say at the moment I find it far too boring. I was talking about it last week. I'm fed up of the advert breaks. I'm fed up of the cuts to outside pictures of the road. I'm fed up of waiting 5 minutes of the program starting before anything happens. The gap between matches is astronomical. No, there's no urgency. There's no decent pace. It's all very pedestrian, and to sit there for 3 hours with no peaks and troughs is
a slog, should we say?
Oof.
A really hard slog. Yeah, I agree.
It is at the moment.
I think there needs to be a seismic shift in terms of what Hunter's doing with Raw. We've been saying that SmackDown's lacked any real quality for, ages now. It felt like just after or just before WrestleMania, SmackDown was in a real lull, and now Raw seems to be going through that as well.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a booking situation or if they have so much talent on the roster, but it just doesn't seem like they're using any of it.
There's no
anyone.
No, there's no urgency. Like the tag titles have only been defended once since they won them. The Intercontinental title's hardly defended. I mean, I said maybe last week, maybe we need another title that's actually on the show every bloody week, like the old TV title used to be, or the European title. I'm not saying get them back, make something new, but also that would help people like Rusev, Aleister Black. It would make those moments more important for them. You know, you think back to wrestlers where those sorts of titles really help. They help like William Regal. They help like Test. You know, it was a good start for Jericho. It was a good start for Angle. Dean Malenko. You know, it just made the segment mean more. Because the segments, when no titles are on the line on Raw ever, and then they're just formulaic segments. Why? It's like I don't care. There's no reason to. There's nothing. There's no substance behind any of it. It's like, well, you know, Sheamus and Rusev had this massive feud. What's the payoff? We haven't seen Sheamus since, and it's taken Rusev 4 weeks or 3 weeks to come back and seemingly push Dominic Mysterio and sort of challenge for the Intercontinental title. But there's been so much of a gap since that match with Sheamus back at Clash at Paris that it's not. You can't even link the two. You can't say, oh well, you know, he won the match. That's the benefit of winning that massive feud. It's like he's been off TV for 3 weeks, so we've lost momentum. He should have come storming out on Raw and broke that Intercontinental title match up between AJ and Dom, and caused havoc and plonked his claim down on the Intercontinental title. It's just all too boring.
Is it just me? Or, see, when I used to watch Raw and SmackDown early 2000s, they were only 2 hours, and everything felt compact. You know, there was
Quick.
no filler. There was no wasted energy from anyone on the show. Every segment had a reason. Every segment had a purpose, and everything had a meaning to it. Now, I don't know if it's down to the lack of creativity on the show, or if it's down to the matches themselves, because each week on Raw and SmackDown at the moment, we seem to get 4 matches, or 3 matches, or 5 matches. Now, this week, you had the tag match, the women's match, the singles match, the women's match again, and what was the other match? Oh, J and LA. So you had 5 matches.
Yeah.
But in 3 hours? Like, they're not all 10-minute matches.
No.
If we went back to a 10-minute match framework, bell to bell, you could have 6 or 7 matches on the card, and that would help push so many more storylines along.
Speed the
You'd have
pace up.
so many more people on the show that would have other storylines going on. Why don't give me Maxine Dupree backstage, shorten up one of the other matches, and put her out there against someone?
Exactly. Have Rusev on every week instead of every 3 weeks. I mean, that's the problem. That's what's damaging people. They did it with Fraxium. They've done on SmackDown. They've done it so many times. I mean, the Bloodline, whatever the hell they're called now, and whatever's going on with it. It's just people just get lost. And this is the problem with the Aleister Black, Damian Priest feud. It's like, okay, so they wrestled in June, then they wrestled in like August, and then they wrestled in September.
Do you know, it was a problem that they really had, that Hunter actually really had during the early days of NXT, around about 2016, 2017, because they would film 1 hour for a week, but they'd film sort of like 4 or 5 shows in a row.
Yeah.
But you might have let's say, for example, between takeovers, or between filmings, between film dates, you'd have 5 shows filmed. On week 1, you'd have Finn Balor, for example, come out and challenge for the NXT title. Then you wouldn't see him for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you'd see him on recording night, or on the 3rd or 4th recording, and be like, yeah, okay, I accept your challenge. And it's like, but that happened 3 or 4 weeks ago. Why do I care now? You've spent the last 4 weeks giving me Bull Dempsey versus Baron Corbin, Tyler Breeze versus Tyson Kidd. And back then it was grating to me, because it'd be like, you're having to recycle footage that you took in kayfabe 4 weeks ago to remind me why we're doing this.
That's how Raw used to be when it first started. They used to take 4 weeks in a row because they were only an hour long. And that's the weird thing, You'd have Mr. Perfect against Ric Flair, and then you wouldn't see Mr. Perfect again for 5 weeks, and you'd be like, okay, he's just won like the most important match of his career, and you haven't seen him for 5 weeks.
It can work if you're gonna have. See, what NXT did in the meantime is they always alluded back to what had happened the previous week. In that footage, they'd sort of edit in a short recap of what happened last week. But we're not getting that with Raw. So we're not getting Aleister Black versus Damian Priest highlights 3 weeks on the bounce. Not that we'd want to anyway, but it's just
there's no link.
There's no meat there's no meat to the feud, because
everything's cold.
The feud go cold.
Yeah, everything's cold. Everything's cold.
Everything's let to just rest and go cold every single week. And you think, okay, so what's the hot feud on Raw right now? Well, Jay versus LA Knight, yes. Asuka, Kyrie, Io and Rhea, yes. And LA Knight and Bron Breakker. Oh, I've already said them.
Well, the Vision-ish.
Punk and Seth.
Sort of.
Punk and Seth.
Yeah.
They are the hot feuds.
But when you listen to the talent list and talent roster on Raw, where the hell are these people? Like I said, where's Dom? Where's the Judgment Day's tag titles? Where's Where's Sheamus? Where's Rusev?
Where are the
Yeah.
Creeds? Where is Chad Gable?
Oh
Where
God!
is
Well,
Otis? Where is Tozawa?
yeah,
Where's half the roster? Half the roster just doesn't seem to turn
Well,
up.
Rhea's hardly ever there.
Yeah.
She comes out and helps. She does little run-ins, but you're like, okay. And it's like me and Fraz mentioned last week. You know, give Chelsea Green a championship. You know, because the US Women's Championship is struggling again because they're just not booking it. So just give it to someone with a bit of personality and have a personality champion for a few weeks just to create some buzz about it, because she's going to do some stupid things with the belt to make it really important. Like she's going to have it in some sort of bloody security armed case or something, and Secret Service come out, you know, not saying they come out with guns, but, you know, it will make it a feature. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's just no creativity like anywhere at the moment. I just, you know, Triple H and oh God, what's that arsehole's name? Brother Love.
Bruce Pritchard.
Bruce Pritchard. Both came out the other week and said, "Oh, we don't listen to people moaning on the internet. We listen to people, you know, sitting in the arena." And you're like, well, that's where you're going wrong, because you've priced all your proper wrestling fans out of coming to the arena. So you're listening to corporate people who haven't got a clue what they're talking about. It's formulaic. It's pedestrian. It's a massive, massive lack of creativity. You know, when this year has anything creatively good happened? I can't. Like, I mean, okay, Jay winning the Rumble. Although that was 50-50 because some people really didn't like that. But I think, okay, good shout. Elimination Chamber, you had the shock with Naomi, and you had
And the shock with Cena.
And the shock Cena heel turn, which obviously we know one of those ended up dreadfully and one was fantastic. And then, but from WrestleMania onwards, it's just been a shower of shit from a creative standpoint. When you look back at the 2000s, Christ, the 90s, you know, the creative ways to win and lose matches, the creative ways to win and lose titles where it didn't hurt people and it helped feuds, you know, swapping titles every couple of months. There's just nothing.
Even when things were really bad, and we're talking 2010s, even when things were really bad, I don't think they were this bad.
No,
there were times when we physically couldn't bring ourselves to watch the show. Like you said in a previous video, you actually quit watching wrestling because of how you felt about John Cena. But even that wasn't as bad as this. It's not bereft of creativity. They had creative ways of putting obstacles in his path that he overcame every single fucking time, but they had creative ways of doing it. You know, they'd have R-Truth circle in, or Mark Henry would come out in a salmon suit and pretend to retire. Things were inventive, things were creative. Yeah. This is just paint by numbers, boring shit. And it's just like, why can't you figure out how to fucking get a creative writer that knows what they're doing? Get a fan in there, someone who actually wants to see the product progress and be good, rather than just safe, keep your job, keep under the radar, don't upset anyone.
Well, I just think they've got far too stubborn and arrogant. It's the only thing I can think of, because, and especially Pritchard, he always comes out and says something stupid like that when he thinks he's in a better position than he is. So he said it just in 2001, how, you know, nothing would ever go wrong again. They listen to the fans and they give them what they want every single time. And then, you know, they buy WCW and everything goes down the shit. I think the problem you've got is you've just got less and less and less wrestling people involved, and you've got more and more people who don't quite really get what goes on in the ring. WCW used to say it all the time: we haven't got Pat Patterson. WWF got Pat Patterson. We've got bigger names and bigger stars, but we don't know how to finish matches. We don't know how to finish storylines. We don't know how to, you know, or pay it off or build it to the next one. You know, all the great sort of WWF wrestlers, Brett, Shawn, Rock, Austin, specifically Rock as well. I mean, he'd only have Patterson work out the finish to his matches, you know. They're just missing creative people like that. You know, you haven't got Gerald Briscoe, you haven't got Pat Patterson, you haven't got ex-wrestlers who had actually done something in the business.
But Michael Hayes is creative. Chris Park is very creative.
Is he allowed to be?
But this is it. I think we're stuck in a position where Bruce Pritchard, who I will say, Bruce Pritchard wins the award for me for the person in history who has accomplished so much with so little talent for anything. He's utterly useless at everything he does. He was a terrible fucking manager. He was a terrible he's terrible backstage.
Yeah, he's been fired for how bad he's been backstage.
So bad at everything he does, and yet
he's got something over someone, hasn't he? That's the only answer.
He's basically Kevin Dunn 2.0. But yeah,
mind you, anyway, I'd have him back now, because I can't put up with these 15-minute openings of Raw where nothing happens and we're just watching aeroplanes go past outside.
Yeah, very true. Elsewhere in the news this week, obviously at Wrestlepalooza, we saw a new Hall of Famer be announced. Stephanie McMahon Helmsley is going into the Hall of Fame. I bring it up now because obviously it's the earliest I think a Hall of Famer has been announced. A good 5, nearly 6 months out from the actual Hall of Fame ceremony. So,
do you know why?
Very interesting. Why is that?
It's her birthday this week.
Oh, is she going to be mentioned in the vault, do you think?
It was I couldn't possibly say. It was the closest wrestling show to her birthday.
Oh, for fuck's sake. So not only is it a nepotism fucking pick in the first place, seeing as, she has done nothing other than being the daughter of a certain man.
Oh, I don't know. She has done some pretty awesome stuff. Her charity stuff's good. I mean, she thought she was better than Paul Heyman and fired him from the writing team. She got abducted by Taker. For me, that's good enough.
Stephanie.
Yeah. So I mean, I take it just for that, to be honest with you. But I don't know if I can say she doesn't deserve it. But what I would say is it's a bit like WrestleMania in Saudi. There are far, far more people and places that deserve it before. But so for me, the first thing I thought of was this screams that they're losing control, I think, and that Hunter was put in last year and Steph's gone in this year. I think they're trying to get certain people in before it's not their choice and TKO really do take over.
Maybe. But that brings us nicely, you've segued beautifully there, by the way, into the other news of this week was Saudi WrestleMania. I mean, Jesus Christ. What can you say? What I will say is that it's been established, I think it was established a while ago, that in the original Saudi contract that Vince knocked together, the original Saudi contract stated that they were to have a WrestleMania before the end of the contract. So we knew it was coming. But it's not the point. The point is that here is a country that the last few years has produced semi-decent shows, semi-decent crowds as well for the last couple. But they don't. We haven't had a top 4 pay-per-view in the UK since '92. For anyone that thinks that London, Melbourne, Sydney, Dublin, Paris, Madrid, Barcelona, any of these individual cities in their
Germany,
own right,
there's a country. There's so many other countries.
Munich,
India deserve it before. They've done Indian shows since the late 70s. It's criminal.
But
it's
the idea that they
criminal.
wouldn't be able to fill their biggest stadiums. AEW, I think, have announced that they'll be taking All In to Melbourne. No, sorry, I do beg your pardon. Crown Jewel is obviously in Perth, and someone was saying the other day, why haven't AEW taken All In to Melbourne? Because if you went to, I guarantee you, mate, the MCG with an AEW crowd full of Aussies, that stadium seats 100,000 people for a cricket match.
Yeah,
so why they wouldn't?
They did it for global warming in 2002. I think they got 60,000 people. But yeah, that's not WrestleMania, is it? Do you know what I mean?
That's not WrestleMania, but I mean, if All In went to MCG, mate, they'd pack the fucking place to the roof. It'd be crazy. And the same with Wembley. Granted, I understand why they don't necessarily want to do a Mania in England, because the weather tends to be shit.
Yeah, but it's got a roof.
Wembley doesn't, though.
It does. It's just not very good.
No, it only goes halfway across.
Yeah, exactly. At half shuts. I mean, what moron come up with that as an idea?
There isn't a single stadium in the UK that shuts.
No, but
Only one that
Europe.
shuts is centre court.
But even I mean, I can take. I don't even necessarily want or say that England necessarily deserve it more than Saudi. But I mean, Europe as a whole does. I mean, Italy. To try and appease people because the backlash was so bad, they came out 4 days later and told everyone, "Don't panic. We're going to do a PLE in Italy in between Rumble and WrestleMania." So what are they going to do? Elimination Chamber in Italy. I'm not sure they'll get the chamber over, but I mean, if they do, great. But that's still not the same. This is not the same. Yeah, I think that's pathetic. I really do think it's pathetic, and I'm really pissed off with it. But what can you do? It is what it is.
What we can do, really.
It's not really Saudi's fault. And I don't specifically have anything against the country, despite why you would have loads of things against the country. For me, it all comes down to the fact that they just don't deserve it as fans above some of these other fans. I mean, you mentioned SummerSlam '92. This is when the drugs steroid scandal started, and Hogan disappeared off for a year. That SummerSlam kept WWE in business that year. 92 was not great, and you just think to yourself, yeah, and they do their best to try and erase that as well. And of course, this year having the double SummerSlam over 2 nights. Now they've finally been able to say that they've beaten the SummerSlam record from '92 on American soil, and you're like, God.
No.
And that's how you get paid back. You don't get a Mania before Saudi. Just think. Insane.
This isn't to say that Saudi don't deserve a Mania. I think the Saudi crowds recently have been half decent, and yes, everyone deserves a Mania, but I think it's fair to say that even Saudi folks, even Saudi Arabians would say, there's probably other places that deserve one first.
I think so. For sure.
Who knows?
Europe, Australia, like I said, even India. I mean, even in '96 when WWE's not making that much money, they did a tour in India, and they've done several tours in India. That kept the doors open. They got 45,000 people, I think, at one Indian show, just before WrestleMania 12, and you're just like, that's dedication, but no, it's all gone out the window because it's not about fans anymore.
Indeed, it is not. Otherwise, in the news this week, and finally in terms of the news side of things, in the last 24 hours, we have had confirmation of the PWI 500. Now, for those of you who don't know what the PWI 500 is, it's the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which is a pro wrestling publication, top 500 wrestlers for the year. They do a PWI 100 for the women, and the 500 is for the men. We're not going to obviously give you every single person on this fucking list, because it pretty much is every single wrestler there has ever been. And to give you an idea, I've just gone down to number 500, and it's a guy called Serial Man. At 492, would you believe, is everyone's favourite psychopath from the WCW days, Crowbar. Tommy Dreamer is 487. So there are some seriously strange names on here. But in terms of the top 10 and the top 20 or so, it is topped by the number 1, the QB1. Cody Rhodes is the PWI 500 number 1 wrestler in the world for 2025. John Moxley is a close second. Now, what I will say is that the PWI 500 takes into consideration kayfabe, so it's not a shoot list, as it were. So people like Moxley are on there at number 2 because for the whole year he's been the top guy in AEW. Gunther is number 3, Hangman Page is number 4, and we've also got Jey Uso at 6, Seth Rollins at 8. These people, you could argue, well, Seth Rollins is arguably the best wrestler in the world, he should be number 1. So I understand that. Will Ospreay at number 10 is ridiculous. He should be number 1 or 2.
Damian Priest is 18.
Well, there you go. There's someone who's way too high. Trick Williams, hasn't been NXT champion all year, and is 19th ahead of Jacob Fatu.
MJF is 30.
Yeah, so not exactly the most reliable of lists, but still it creates a little bit of a conversation. Is there anyone in that, say, top 20, top 30 that you would say does not belong?
Oh, well, Damien Priest, for
I think
starters.
that's fair. Yeah.
It's not necessarily that they might not deserve to be there.
Not in the top 30.
I'm surprised MJF is so low.
Bearing in mind
Yeah,
Randy Orton is 32. I mean,
Randy
Randy's
Orton's
barely
30.
wrestled this year.
Yeah, I know. That's CM Punk's 15. I mean, no, because it's like you said, it's kayfabe to a degree. So, I wouldn't have Damien Priest anywhere near my top 30. I've got to be honest. Jacob Fatu's fallen off a tree in the last 3 months. So, I mean, I'd struggle to put him. He's 20 and LA Knight's 22. Well, he's massively over whether you like him or not. So there's an argument to say he should be higher. MJF should definitely be higher. I'm looking around at who's close, who probably should be higher, but
I thought
no.
Joe Hendry was quite high personally. I
He
did
is,
12
but
for Joe Hendry, but he's very, very over. Like worldwide, he's renowned to be
well,
very over.
Dominic Mysterio's 48.
Yeah,
Matt
so he
Riddle
should be
is
higher.
I mean, how can Matt Riddle be 49 but Dom is 48? Penta is 45. He should be higher. But it's difficult to say who you should take him out for, and I've got to be careful because I'll be pro WWE to a degree. But I will say I agree with Moxley, Hangman, Osprey's too low. So I agree with them in the sort of top 10.
I think it was a shoot. If it was a shoot list, I think it'd be fair to say Will or Seth would be number one. The other one would be
Well,
number two.
behind Billy Gunn, obviously.
Well, yeah, exactly. Behind Billy Gunn, who should
Shout out for Fraz.
Do you know what? I'm going to actually, for the purposes of Fraz, I'm just going to type in Billy Gunn, see if he's anywhere on this list. For the record, Farad, I'm afraid Billy Gunn does not make the top 500 wrestlers. He is behind Cheeseburger, Cereal Man, Eel O'Neill, and Jeffrey John, just so you know. And like I said,
David Boy Smith
Crowbar.
Davey Boy Smith Jr. is 93. Carmelo Hayes is 95. Solo Sikoa is 89.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn is 105. JC Mateo is 108. How can he be anywhere near Sami Zayn?
Crazy.
I mean, Psycho Mike is 122.
Exactly. Madness. But yes, that's the PWI 500.
Who's Mustafa Ali? Yeah, he's 145. He's above Rey Mysterio.
He's something to do with the X Division, I think, in TNA.
Andrade is 157.
He's not even in the company anymore. He's not employed.
Oh my god! Ultimo Guerrero. Is that some sort of Ultimo Dragon Guerrero mix-up?
No, I think he's a AAA guy. But
Truth's 198.
See, so PWI 500 is a good read if you like thinking to yourself, this guy doesn't belong here, this guy doesn't belong here, this guy should be higher, this guy should be lower. It's a good read. So take your time and go through it and have a little bit of a giggle.
Definitely.
We did allude to the fact that there was something mentioned there about TNA. TNA invaded NXT this week. I didn't know if you've seen that or saw clips of it online. I've quite enjoyed that.
Invasion begins.
Yeah. A proper invasion with everyone involved and nobody holding out for contracts. Yeah.
No.
Ain't nobody sitting around going, I think I'll just catch my check. Cheers, brother.
Yeah. Well, they all did it, to be fair. Ray, Sting, everybody, didn't they? So, yeah. Why not?
Well, indeed.
The curse of WCW's payment system.
I have got a hot take, and I alluded to it shortly on the predictions video, so I'm just opening some drink.
It's not the microwave this week, it's the drink.
No, not the microwave. The microwave's already on. It's keeping me nice and cool, but this is the drink. So my hot take comes as a result of Wrestlepalooza. Mixed tag teams.
Oh, yeah.
Mixed tag team wrestling is the biggest shower of shit. I don't understand why it's 2025, right? In 2000, late 90s, 2000s, you had Medusa in WCW, you had Lita, you had Molly Holly, you had women that were more than, you had China, obviously.
Yeah. Asia.
Asia as well. You had women that were willing and able to hang with the guys. They were limited in what they could do, obviously, But I'm sorry, if you go back to the match between Dean Malenko and Lita, that's a great match. Granted, it's Dean Malenko, so of course it's a great match. But there's no reason why in 2025 you can't imagine a situation where Rhea Ripley beats the dog shit out of Dominic Mysterio.
Yep.
Or at the very least, someone like Io holds her own, or Jade Cargill could hold her own, Nia Jax could hold her own.
Oh, definitely.
Why are we... The reason I bring this up is because I felt that the way they did the mixed tag match at Wrestlepalooza, whether you liked it or not, was so kind of butt-ass. The whole, when you tag in, you have to tag in. Every time you tag out, you have to tag out. And I was just like, this is so shit. Like, this is technically boring and so frustrating, because I don't condone abuse of, domestic abuse, and I don't condone men beating on women. But I'd kind of like to see Becky get her ass handed to her with a GTS from Punk. I'd quite like to see AJ taking on Seth a bit. Do you know what I mean? In that scenario, in that story.
She did Black Badger him.
There's no... Yeah, well, I mean, he got his, as it were. I don't know if you've seen the picture.
I did see the picture, yeah. Oh, dear.
Good lad. But yeah, so... but there's no reason why we can't see Becky take a worked kayfabe move from CM Punk that knocks her out. We can't... Why can't Becky, instead of Becky just standing there slapping CM Punk, why isn't she trying to get him in the Becky
Disarmer or something?
Yeah. Or anything.
Well,
like that, just to me would break down that wall of disbelief. Like I think we just
knew how that was going to happen with the way it was booked. I mean, the whole reason AJ came back is because Punk refused to retaliate against Becky. So I totally get what you're saying, but I don't think that was ever going to be on the cards in this one. But
not on that one. But
I don't know.
It's time to move with the times. Lucha Underground. I don't know if you've ever watched any Lucha Underground, but Lucha Underground used to be the masters of women wrestling men. You had Io Sky, or Io Shirai, whatever her name was back in Lucha Underground, facing off against Penta. You had Chelsea Green facing off against Penta in one of the most violent and bloody matches I've ever seen. And it was excellent. Fucking amazing. And these women were able to hang with the guys, and it was believable because the character was the thing.
I mean, like I said, it can work. It's interesting when you listen to talent especially talking about China now. They go back and, oh god, it was hard to work with, and it's embarrassing, had to make us selling moves to her and all that sort of stuff. Yet at the time she was so over, everybody wanted to be in the ring with her or be on a segment with her and make money with her. So it's interesting, isn't it? I think it's just difficult. It's just politically a challenging one, isn't it?
The sponsors want nothing to do with it. You can guarantee that the PG sponsors want nothing to do with them doing that. So I get that, but there's a place for it. There is a place for it, and it can happen.
Well,
but it has to happen properly.
Let's go back to Raw Underground and have. I mean, I tell you what. What's Natalie Neidhart doing? She's going off doing this like fighting stuff, isn't she? I mean, that's not far off, is it? I mean, Christ.
She's doing the bit where she's Natalia on screen, and then she's Natty Neidhart on all the independents with her just Natty down here.
But she's proper fighting though, isn't she? Yeah, completely different character.
So she's done Bloodsport, and she's doing a couple of GCW shows, and they are not.
I think it's the Bloodsport
they're still
one.
Kayfabe. Yeah, they're still kayfabe.
Yeah.
But it's a bit more violent.
So is Lucha Underground, isn't it? I mean, it's just what we're saying about how we're just saying let's start to blur the lines a little bit again and create a bit of unpredictability and a bit of creativity, maybe.
I mean, when was the last time you saw a woman take a finisher? I can tell you when the last time I saw a woman was that took a finisher from a dude. The last time I saw a woman take a finisher from a dude was Stacy Keibler eating an RKO.
Yeah. Well, maybe Trish at some point doing something.
Trish
but
made
you're
probably. By Kane
but yeah,
or
you're.
Something, or an Unprettier from Christian, or a Lions, or a Jericho, a Walls of Jericho from Jericho, something like that.
But yeah, no, you're probably right. Yeah.
But Lita never took an FU from John Cena. Never.
No. She
never
did
even
take. She took a mandible claw or a Mr. Socko with thumbtacks all over it,
yeah,
or barbed wire.
that's
WrestleMania
true.
22,
Yeah,
but it's
but
not
she
quite.
didn't
I know
take
what you
a
mean. It's not an impact move.
no, but she
Yeah.
didn't even take a fucking twist of fate from Matt during that scandal. Do you know what I mean? Like when Matt and Edge were working
No.
together for the
Yeah.
loser leaves town match, she didn't take anything.
She got
She
accidentally
took plenty.
speared by Edge. She
She
got
took plenty,
it.
but
Yeah, but well, yeah.
in more ways than one. But yeah. Have you got anything you would like to get off your chest? Any big hot takes that you feel like you would like to get off your
I
chest?
think I've kicked off enough. Really, I'm just struggling. I think I really am struggling.
Just with the product in general.
7 hours of product to watch if you just watch Raw and SmackDown, and out of that, you get an hour and a half's wrestling, or in-ring action. But I can't call it all wrestling these days. But yeah, I mean, I've said it all. I'm just going to repeat myself. But yeah, something needs to happen for me, pretty quick, pretty quick, because I would rather watch 1993 and 1995 than what I'm watching at the moment, and they're supposed to be the two worst years ever. So I just they've just taken all the fun and energy and passion out of it. There's just for me, there's nothing to get excited about. I mean, I honestly couldn't give a shit about Crown Jewel. I don't care about the Crown Jewel Championships. I don't even care about AJ and Cena, because it would have been fantastic, and it probably still will be good, but it's cold again, and that whole Brock match, I think they've just thrown away Cena now. I mean, that was just ridiculous. It's just like, oh, tick the box, done, next. And that's not how I wanted him to go out. I really didn't. But it looks like we're just going to be ticking boxes now. I mean, thank God this match should be better than the Brock Lesnar match, but yeah, again, where's the passion? Where's, it just got announced by Triple H randomly. What
And that's
the
only in
fuck?
response to the fact that people have been asking and begging for AJ and Cena all year.
Yeah,
Because we weren't going to get it. They weren't going to give it to us.
But let's get creative. Let's get creative. You've got 7 hours of prime television time, right, to get creative. I don't care whether Cena's available or not. AJ done this huge promo a couple of weeks ago. Nothing's happened.
Oh,
What?
The people are against me, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why didn't we start another one of them? And then, Christ, I don't know. Loads of people from the back, producers, come out and try and cut him off and take him backstage. And then he goes backstage and he has a huge argument with Triple H in Gorilla. And then they have this big argument. They go, okay, you want it? You've got it. You can fight John Cena. Do you know what I mean? Just something for the love of God.
Rather than just dropping it in our laps on Twitter or something. Yeah.
But yeah, everything. It's like we've been spoon-fed like babies. A couple of months ago, someone said WWE is really, really predictable. I don't necessarily know if I agree that it's completely predictable, but what I do agree with is it's very pedestrian, and just very. It's not. It's just so. It's so mundane at the moment that I'm not even. I'm not even upset. Like, I'm just angry because I just think it's such a waste. But like, I'm almost at a point where I'm emotionless and I just don't care, and that's the worst place to be, because I'd rather watch it and get really upset or get really angry or get really happy. I don't want. The whole point of wrestling is, like I said earlier, elicit a response. At the moment, I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Which is not good. Not good for me.
It's not good for us. Not good for anyone, really, especially when we've got to come on here and talk about it after.
Oh, it's all right. I've got plenty. Don't you worry. I've got plenty to say. I'll always have plenty to say.
We can come on here and shit on the product all we like, as long as it's
as long as we're passionate about it.
Exactly.
I'll give you some creative bashing. Don't
more
worry.
Passion, more energy, more passion, more energy.
More energy.
Right, anyway. I just want to say thanks to everyone that's watched this video. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again. Please don't forget to drop your likes, your shares, your subscribes, your bells, your comments Drop us a hot take if you've got one. Tell us what you thought of this week in wrestling. Tell us what you thought about the PWI if you get a chance to look at it.
Oh God, yeah.
We'll see you for another episode next week. Take care.
Bonjour.
Evolution is a mystery.